Welcome back to the 801 Diaries podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Abby.
Abby, how are you?
Um, in theory, I'm really good. I'm
Oh,
straight chilling.
we love
Um,
the in theory.
um, physically, I feel like I've been run over by a truck.
Please explain.
So yesterday was 8 miles, which was it was crazy. Let me tell you. So, first of all, we decided to run the first eight because we're doing a half marathon. We decided to run the first eight of the half marathon so we could kind of get used to the path of the race,
Smart. I think
see
that's
where
a
we're
great
going,
idea.
those kinds of things. When I tell you that first 3 miles was directly uphill, like so aggressively uphill that I thought I was gonna die. I thought it was a joke, is really what it was.
I
Because
saw Maddie's TikTok. I can't believe that they actually have that as part of the
it
race. Like
is
that's the route.
so aggressively uphill. So we did that, and so we were doing eight. So the first 3 miles were literally straight uphill because the whole race has an elevation gain of 382 feet, which I thought it was gonna be like gradual, no big deal. No, it is directly uphill. And
Oh my
382
goodness.
feet is a little higher than I thought it was. Um,
Oh no.
so I was not mentally or emotionally prepared for what we were about to do. But so
Okay.
we walked a lot of that first 3 miles because it was so aggressively uphill. And then we kind of walked a lot of it. Well, what happened was we tried to take those hills too hard and then it wore us out
Yeah.
so fast.
No, that
But
makes
now we
sense.
know. So this is good information to have. Now we know.
See, it's good you have it now instead of as you're doing it on the morning of the race. Like this is good
Yes.
to be
And we
prepared.
realized like we haven't run hills at all. Like we haven't done any kind of hill training. So we're gonna start doing this track a lot more or whatever, this path a lot more so we can
Yeah.
kind of get more
Okay.
hill training. But
Smart.
it it was poopy. It got me. That it was so aggressively uphill. But then we did the rest of it. We finished. It was fine. We ran a little bit. We probably ran half, walked half kind of a thing. We were
Okay.
chilling. So we didn't go too hard, but it was so uphill.
Yeah.
It was insane. And so much of it. When you thought you were done, there was another great big hill coming right at you.
Oh
That was
no.
even steeper than the last one. It was crazy.
Oh no.
So we did that. And then, well, I've had the most productive weekend ever.
I know you have. Let's hear
Friday.
about it. Tell everybody else
So
about it.
last week I went and got a dresser off Facebook Marketplace because I've been wanting to put a dresser in my room.
Hmm.
And so I found one on Facebook Marketplace, so I went and picked it up. And then Friday I like redid it and I made it all bright and fun.
Cute.
And then so I did all that all day Friday. Oh my gosh, my feet are stuck. Okay. I did that all day Friday and it looked so good. It was so much fun. And so I did that Friday. Then Saturday we did the 8 mile run. And then I painted my room, my whole room. Me and Maddie painted my whole room. So now it's
So
all
fun.
blue and it looks so good. And so after our 8 mile run, we went to Costco. We walked around Costco and then we came home and then started painting my room and did that all day. We like from the time I woke up at like 9 to the time we sat down to watch Severance at 9:30, other than being in the car, I hadn't sat down.
That's crazy, dude.
And now I feel like I've been run over by a truck.
Yeah. But hey, what a fun weekend.
But
Fun,
literally,
fun couple days.
I did like 25,000 steps, which if you know me, that's wild. I never take that many steps.
I love that.
Never.
That's so fun.
Especially like home. Like that's the kind of thing you do if you're like at Disneyland or something. Like
Yeah.
at home to take that many steps, crazy.
Yeah. That's so fun.
So I slayed the day yesterday, but
Amazing.
it has
Amazing.
left me physically fatigued.
Yeah. I understand that. That sounds it physically fatigues me to hear about everything you did.
Yes.
So I can't even imagine how you must feel being
So
the person who actually did said things.
I was so productive. Literally, I killed this weekend because
So proud.
I am
Good
so
job.
productive. But now
Good
all I want to
job.
do is just sit in my bed and never leave, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
How's your week, Emily?
My week was good. It was pretty chill, pretty standard week, not too much happened. I had really good Pilates classes this week. Like they were
Fun.
very intense. It was really funny on my Thursday class. It's so I take like a hard class on Monday and then Thursday's more like it's still like a good workout class, but like it's more just like
Chill.
strength and chill. But that's whatever. But I was doing like squats. We were doing squats and on the foot bar and I was coming down and I was like, man, and I put all the springs on, which is, but what that's what I normally do when I do squats with this teacher specifically, just like her way she does it. I always just, even though she's like, just put like three reds and a blue or something like that, I just put everything on and call it good. So I put everything on and I was going down and I was like, holy cow, this is really killing me this week. I was like, why is it? And it's like the same like sequence that we normally do. And so I was like, why is this killing me so much? Like my legs were killing, they were on fire. And then my teacher comes over and she goes, did you adjust your foot bar? And I was like, no. I was like, this is just how it was when I got here. I didn't do anything to it. She's like, I think a short person was using this right before you. She's like, you are getting the deepest squats of your entire life. She's like, great workout, but this is so hard. And I was like, that's why it's killing me. So then she adjusted it back to where it was supposed to be for my height. And then it was like how I expected it to be. And I was like, oh, I went through half the class doing these wild squats because
The
for fun.
distance was off. That's happened to me before. That and it's weird because you kind of get used to how the reformer feels, like like
Yeah.
how things are
You know
supposed to feel.
what you're
So when
supposed to
that
do.
happens, you're like something is off, but I can't figure out what it is, but something
Yeah.
is off.
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty funny. But then Friday
Slay.
my legs were
Down bad.
were it was rough walking up to my apartment from because I'm like on the second floor, so you have to walk upstairs. It was pretty rough.
I feel
But
that.
it's okay. We did it. It's fine.
Slay.
Also, this was the funniest thing, and I've been waiting to tell you specifically on the podcast because I think it's so funny and people who know us will understand. So this week I was buying plane tickets and it was something I needed emotional support for, right? And I was with Maya and I said, Maya, I need your support in this just because it was a big deal. And so I stick my hand out like this. And for those of you that don't know, I have all my fingers kind of shaped like a volcano pointing up. Okay, I stick my hand out like this to Maya, and she goes, "What are you doing?"
What am I to do with that?
And I was like, "Oh." I was like, I didn't even realize it. It was just so instinctual that I just waited for her support and she didn't offer it. And so then I had to explain to her that no, you put your fingers on top and you make a little
Yes. If you don't know
you have
what
to,
we're
this is
talking
very
about,
visual.
yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch an episode when we were together in person, and I'm sure we did it.
Like so much. And but it was just like such like a whatever kind of a thing, okay? So then as I'm buying the plane tickets, Maya
She
does
she got it.
the support hand motion.
It is the most loving touch you can ever touch, you know?
It really is. There's something so great about it. So then that was on Tuesday, I want to say. And so then last night we're finishing Severance. We're in the finale, the big part. And Maya goes, Emily, I need your support right now, and just puts her hand on my knee like this. So then we watched the last 15 minutes of Severance, and
Giving each other
her fiance
support.
is sitting on the other side of her, and he's like, what are you doing?" And Maya goes, "This is very supportive, so just let us do this."
Exactly. That's so
I was like,
funny.
I'm so glad we could, because I haven't thought about doing that in months, obviously. And then just like, I also was like, I just put my hand out, like, I need
It
this
was
right
just
now.
instinctual. That's so
So
funny.
it made me laugh. And I was like, oh, Abby will appreciate this.
There you go. You know, it's
So
how we show love.
it is
Just like this.
just like this.
It's so cute.
But yeah, it was hilarious. So that happened this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Trying to think if anything else exciting happened this week. I feel like it was a pretty chill week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good week.
It was
So
winter all week. It was so cold and snowy.
that's so funny because it's been so bright and sunny and beautiful here.
Not here.
It's
It's
been like
been
45, 46 degrees, sunny. We love.
It's been cold here. I probably had the worst drive to work I've had all season this week. Like the
Really?
snow's been that bad.
Oh my
But
gosh.
this coming week is supposed to be gorgeous. So when you're seeing this, this last week was gorgeous. Hopefully. Unless,
Hopefully.
we get another snowstorm, which would blow big fat chunks. But it's almost
Katie was
April,
supposed
so if
to.
the snow could freaking knock it off, that would slay. But
Well, they've like given up on snow basically here. They're starting to like remove the rocks already for the season, which is
not
wild.
here. We never had any rocks, but I don't think anyone's given up on the snow yet because
They've given up here.
it's
The
lingering.
the roads are starting to be clean, free of rocks. All of our ice is melted. Like we have
Spring?
it's all gone. It's springtime.
That's
Springtime in
exciting.
the Arctic, you know?
That's exciting. Not
Good
here,
time.
still springtime or still wintertime in the Utah, but we're getting there.
But yeah. Is there any pop culture things that have happened this week?
Um, Not that I can think of. Any for you? Oh,
I
Selena
have
Gomez released her album.
I was going to talk about this, not even the album, because I actually haven't listened to the album at all, but her and Benny doing joint interviews. And I will be the first to admit, I was a why are they
Big
dating
hater.
hater,
Big hater.
but seeing them actually interact together like it is so
I get it.
cute.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan.
Also, has there been a hit in the last 15, 16, 17 years that he didn't do? His
Right?
like collection of work is wild. It is so, so, so wild. I can't believe that he did all of this music because all of it is so good.
Sorry, I had to turn my dinner off the stove. Um, but yeah, no, his he has done
He
literally
he
everything.
did
And I,
Payphone, he did moves like he did TikTok
he
by
is
Kesha.
Maroon 5
He is
essentially.
Maroon 5. He did
I realized all of like, do you remember how 2009 is my favorite music year?
yes.
He did most of 2009.
Which is crazy because he was like 17, 18 in
Wild.
2009. Like
Wild.
what a killer. That is
Yeah.
so wildly impressive.
He's done everything. It's so crazy. But yeah, I am obsessed. Like them on Hot Ones together
So fun.
was
So
so
fun.
fun.
So I'm very happy for them. I have listened to a little bit of the album. I haven't listened to all of it, and it's okay. Like I'm not the biggest Selena fan ever,
Yeah.
but it's fine. Like it's not her
But I think
worst.
it's so
But
sweet.
they're cute. They're
Like
really
they're
cute.
really cute. And he just like, you can tell he just like really cares about her. And I
The
think
most
it's
attentive person ever.
yeah, like that. I feel like that's what everybody wants for someone to remember these like little things and like see these little things about you. And he just notices everything about her. And I
Hmm.
think it's so cute and so sweet. And I love it
It
so
is.
much.
So that's very, very exciting. Um, Trying to think, is there anything else?
That TikTok documentary of Hailey Bieber came
Oh
out
my
this
gosh.
week.
People need to grow up. People need to grow up and
Uh,
find something else to spend their time on.
I know.
I'm gonna
This,
stand on this because people will not leave Selena Gomez alone. They will not leave Hailey Bieber alone. They will not leave
yeah,
Justin Bieber alone. Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber have been married for like 6 years.
yeah, they need to just and like
They need to
Selena's in a
move
very
on.
happy, loving relationship.
Selena's engaged.
Like,
Grow
let's
up.
just all like it's wild. It's crazy because like the thing is like I feel like this cycles every 6 months. Like every 6 months, the same documentary reappears, and you're like, I thought we just dealt with this. Like I swear we just got over this. Like we all forgot about it finally. Like we were all just living our lives, and now it's and then it like cycles back through.
Well, and all the things, not all of them, but a lot of the things they're like accusing Haley of copying of Selena, Haley did first. Like a lot of the tattoos she had first, or outfits she worn first. Like it's
Yeah.
so ridiculous, and people just put it out there because they know it's gonna get buzz. Like
Yeah.
it is
It
lies.
and it's wild though that it gets so much like airtime every 6 months. Like it continually gets so much
Yeah,
airtime.
because
Like
there's
they need to
nothing
just
new.
chillax. No, nothing new has come out in years.
Like people just need to. People need
Yeah,
to grow up and move on. Like it's really, really gets on my nerves.
it's wild. Yeah. I'm like, this is so stupid. Let's just, who cares?
I have a question for you
Okay.
because Benny Blanco did quite a few of Justin Bieber's bangers. Do you think they'll ever work together again?
No way.
I
There's
don't either,
no
but
way.
it would be interesting if they did.
Is Justin ever gonna come back to music, really, though?
I hope so. He's always posting about how he's in the studio. So
Yeah.
I hope so. I love
Yeah.
Justin Bieber. And Freaking Justice was such a good album. If he should have built off that. And I know he was going through a lot and there were a lot of things going on, but and he like had a kid and stuff. But Justice was such a great album. And I just want more of that.
I get it. I get it. But yeah. I don't think they'll ever work together again. I think it's Dunzo. But it's okay. It
Which
just
is
means other
funny.
people can get Benny's bangers. Because
Yeah, because
holy
holy
cow.
cow. Everything he does is a freaking chart topper.
Yeah, he's so good.
Alrighty. I don't have anything else, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You explain what we're doing today.
So as we mentioned earlier in this episode, we both watched Severance. The finale came out this week or a
Yes.
week ago on the day that this is coming out.
This
This
episode is
is
going to be riddled with spoilers. So if you
yes,
haven't watched it, turn this off, go finish, and then come back
and then come back
because
because
there's no way we can talk about this without.
yeah, so this whole episode is gonna be just we're not gonna talk about anything.
Yeah,
It's
so
gonna be
we're
once so if you haven't watched it, if you don't and you don't want to know, don't listen.
don't
Wait
listen.
until you've watched it, then come back and listen to the episode
Yes.
because we're just gonna talk about it because we've both finished it now and it's a big deal.
It
So
is a huge freaking deal.
that's what we're talking about today because it's kind of all I can think about right now and it's all that my TikTok is. And so we just need to like chat about it. And also we
Yes.
haven't been able to talk about it, me and Abby, because I've been behind. So we haven't been able to really chat about it. So
Yes.
this is us talking about it.
Yes. So hopefully the only people here are people who have watched it. So we don't have to explain the premise behind the show. But what the heck was that finale? What the heck was that finale?
I
That was
I'm at a lo
the that was the best episode of television I've ever seen.
ever.
It was so
I
good.
I like even besides the finale, I think that this show in general is one of the best shot and best performed TV shows in a long time. Like just the cinematography behind it and the way the intentionality behind literally everything.
Hmm.
This is what I live for. This is beautiful television. And the finale was like a perfect conglomerate of all of these things. Like it was beautifully shot and it was really great. But holy cow.
One thing I love about the show is you literally cannot predict where it's going to go, but it
No.
never comes off in like a shock value way. Like it all makes sense, but there's
Yeah.
no way you can predict what is going to come next.
Yeah. And I feel like that's one thing that's because I'm someone who I predict a lot of if I'm watching a movie, I try to but I don't know, I feel like we all do, but I try to predict and figure out what's gonna happen next. And there's a certain formula to movies of how they're written and how it's all planned out and whatever. And theoretically it's the same with TV shows just on a smaller scale. But this is one that you just can't quite pin
Get it?
down.
Yeah. And then something will happen and it'll be super wild, but you're like, no, that makes sense. Like
That
that
makes
totally
sense.
tracks.
Yeah.
Like the freaking goat room. Who knew there was going to be this whole goat herder room? But like,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Of
Like, of
course
course
there's a goat
there is.
herder
Yeah.
room. Of course. There's so much of I don't even know. I'm trying to even let's go back to season one. Let's just kind of talk about the show
Hmm.
and then we'll really get into the finale. So season one, I feel bad for these people who had to wait 3 years in between seasons.
I don't know how they did it. Because I started watching it when season two started airing. So I did not have to wait 3 years in between. But
No, I didn't either.
that finale, waiting 3 years, oh my gosh. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And like what a cool, okay, honestly though, the premise of the show, the basic idea of the premise of like severing your work, your home and work life, it's kind of like I understand the appeal behind
Oh,
it
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
I feel like that's something we all want to do. Like nobody wants to take work home with them. And if like Mark, he was grieving in his real life, like he didn't want to take that to work because it was making it so he couldn't actually do his work where he got
But
fired from
also
his job and
it gives you time to just click off. Like you don't have to deal with all that stuff for 8 hours a
yeah.
day.
Yeah. Which is which is honestly so nice if you think about it.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because when this show was pitched to me, when people are like, you need to watch this show, and they're like, oh, it's about, you split your home and work life kind of thing. I'm like, that is the weirdest thing ever. Like, that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But but heck yeah, it does. Heck yeah, it
Yeah.
does. That is an interesting show.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting. And I think that one thing that was cool throughout season one was like kind of trying to just figure out what is going on. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't quite tell, is Lumen bad? Is Lumen good? Like season one was really just like
It took
what
me
is going on?
it took me a good 4 or 5 episodes to like get into it because I was really confused and really like what is this kind of, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So it did take me a
Yeah.
good like 4 or 5 episodes to like kind of enjoy it. But then I was like, holy cow. But Maddie's watching it. She hasn't seen
Right.
all of it yet. So I'm rewatching it with her. So we went back and rewatched season one. And I was
Okay.
like, from the get-go, I'm like, oh, I see this, I see this, I see this. Like it all makes sense
Mm.
now rewatching it.
Ooh, I kind of want to rewatch it then.
Because it did take me a couple of episodes to kind of like get into it.
It definitely felt like a slower start, but I think that that's part of the appeal of it. The
Yeah.
part of the draw is that like
It had
it's
to be
harder to get
normal for a
into.
while. Like it had to be
Yeah.
mundane for a while to kind of
Hmm.
explain the point of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, because it definitely was like very mundane and like them trying to figure out what they even were doing. I mean, that was
Hmm.
like a whole two both seasons. We didn't really find out until the finale of season
Yeah.
two. But like trying to figure out like, oh, these numbers are scary. These numbers are, like it was just
Yeah.
so confusing and it just seemed so weirdly mindless,
Yeah. And like
you know?
infantile in a way because
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, you're gonna find the numbers that make you feel scared." Like that's
Like
not something adults would relate
do.
to or like that's not like a an adult experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's not and like how we know work, that's not what work is to us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, what does that even mean? Like, I
Yeah,
don't
because I
know.
feel like I was expecting them to have like a normal job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it just was so, like you said, infantile of like, find the scary numbers and put them in the
Put
bin.
them in a bin. Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I definitely felt like it needed to be mundane for a little while and try and figure out and everything like that. But then like you really started to get into it as you started to like, I feel like once, was it when Petey died? I think it was, I was not expecting them to kill off Petey as quickly as they
Yeah.
did.
He was
I
only in
thought he
there a
was
couple
gonna,
episodes, like 2 or 3.
yeah, I thought he was gonna stick around the whole time,
Yeah.
whatever, and I was not expecting that.
Reintegration, man.
Gonzo, Gonzo. Um, but yeah, so it was just a very interesting thing, and I feel like as we started to get to know people, um, you started to care more. Like the more
Okay,
you got
let's
to
let's talk
go
about
ahead.
this. I want to hear your opinions on people because me and Maddie have kind of differing opinions.
Okay,
What do you think of Helly?
I hate
I
Helly.
hate Helly. Oh my gosh. I hate her.
I
I hate
hate
her.
her.
I hate Helena. She drives
Yeah.
me bonkers. I still haven't got over Woe's Hollow. I
Oh yeah, not at all.
hate her. I hate her so
I
much. She
I
drives me
hate
nuts.
Helly. I can't stand her. She was so She was just so frustrating from the very
Even
beginning.
before
And
the finale, because well,
yes,
we'll talk about that, but
don't even get me started on
before
that.
that, I can't stand
I
her.
never liked her.
Okay.
I was just really frustrated with her from the very beginning. Like I understand the like confusion and before we knew she was Helena Egan. Like before that, I still
Hmm.
didn't like her because it was really frustrating of like this is like a lot of the like my thought was is we all have work we have to do and we might not like it, but it's your job. You need to just like do it. And she was just so mad about it. And I understand that like she was new, like brand new, she had never been whatever, but like I was so annoyed. I was like, Helly, we all have a job. Do your dang job.
But like
Like,
also, sorry, there's something in my. She had been there for like 2 days and she tries and kills herself. Like, come on. Like
yeah,
you have to try a little harder than that. Like
yeah,
sometimes life happens and it's not necessarily the funnest thing, but you have to keep going a little bit. You can't
yeah,
give up this first sign of discomfort or something you may not agree with. And also, I mean, like now we know kind of what her outie was like, why her outie wouldn't let
why her
her
outie would.
resign, kind of the thing.
Yeah,
But like, if you hated it so bad that you threatened to cut off your hand and your outie was still like, no, like you need to be here, like I'm not letting you resign, wouldn't that like cause a little stop for thought a little bit, be like, okay, what is going on in my outie's life where this is better than out there? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I feel like there was
No, I
no
agree.
stopping for reflection or whatever. And
Yeah,
that is because I mean that's a pretty like mature thing to do to kind of have empathy for people in that way. But
right.
I just can't stand her. I can't
I
stand
can't
her.
either. I'm not a Helly fan. Not a Helly fan at all.
What do you think of Irving?
I love Irving.
I love Irving too. I
I
think he's
love
such
him
a sweet
so
guy.
much.
He's so
He's
sweet.
so sweet.
But
And
also, he's genius. He is the only one who notices things.
yeah,
And he was doing all of that. He was doing all of that work as an outie too, which is crazy.
yeah. I wish we would have gotten to see more of what he was doing as an outie.
Yes.
Like because we saw obviously Mark is the main character of the show, so his outie was a bigger focus than everybody
Yeah.
else's outie. But like I wish we could have seen more of what was Irv doing as
Yeah,
an
well,
outie
because
because
we got quite a bit of Dylan's outie too. We got quite a bit of Helly's outie. We did not get very much of Irving's,
Irv's
except for
outie.
him and Bert together. But I
Yeah.
wanted more of like Irving's
I wanted
story.
Irving himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how did he come to work at Lumen? Like
Yeah.
how he like I want to know why he thought being severed was a good
Well,
move
no,
or
what I think
whatever.
it was he knew kind of I think he did it to get intel kind of a thing. Like he had started
Yeah.
his work before and
Okay.
then was like, I'm gonna be severed so I could get more intel on what Lumen is doing because I think he knew Lumen was kind of sus.
Right. But then yeah, see, it's like it's but then it's like, well, how do you get intel to your outie that can help get information?
Yeah,
How do you tell your innie that you're doing this like whatever, you know, that you're like
exactly.
investigating kind of thing. Like it's such a crazy idea that they can't talk to each other,
At
which I
all.
think was shown really beautifully in the finale with Mark in the videotape
Hmm.
of him having to film himself and then go outside, film himself and go like in order to
Yeah.
have a conversation with
Yeah.
himself because that's the first time that he was able to
Able
talk to
to, yeah.
his Indian like the Indian Audis were able to talk. And so I think it was just really it was just crazy how many blocks Lumen had put to make sure that that never
Never
happened.
happened.
Like there was no possibility of communication
Hmm.
with each other, which is wild.
Hmm. Okay, what do you think, including the finale? What do you think of Miss Cobell now? What do you think her thing is?
I'm still suspicious of Miss Cobell.
Yes.
I cannot fully say big Cobell fan over here. You know what I mean? Like
Her
I'm
episode in season 2 with like her backstory and stuff was the creepiest thing
so
in the whole
creepy.
entire world. Like it makes me sad because you can see like how she's still kind of child, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
being like raised how she was and everything. You can see
Yeah.
like with her like breather thing or like, these
Yeah.
like
When she was in her mom's
emotional
room.
support things,
Yeah.
yeah. But she is so evil too, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't trust her. I
I
can't
can't
trust her
trust
yet.
her. I do appreciate her telling any Mark what was going on with Cold Harbor.
Hmm.
Like I feel like she's I feel like they're setting her up to for us to really like her, and I hope that like
That's
she
not in
continues on a
vain.
good path. Yeah. But I still am very skeptical of her. And yeah, it was
She
yeah, I'm
just
not quite sure how I
she's just
feel
kind
about
of
her.
freaky. There's just something about her that freaks me out.
Yeah. And I
And
think it's her knowing. Like I think that it's what
yeah.
she knows that makes her scary
Well,
and
and
freaky.
apparently she was like the super genius who is like came up
Who
with all this
invented
stuff.
yeah,
Like,
not James Egan, Jamie Egan.
no, just her.
Not Haley's dad, just her. But yeah,
So like, hmm,
I'm very curious about like I feel like I'm so excited for season 3 because I feel like they've set it up so well with everything of like people's plots of like what is Miss Cobell gonna do next? Like what is all the like all these people that I want to like I want to like her. And after seeing how she was raised and like how you want to like her, but I
mhm.
just can't yet. I'm not there.
There's just still some, you know. Okay, what do you
Yeah.
think of Milkshake?
Love.
I love
I
him.
I love him so much. I
No one has more
I
swagger in this world, and no
nobody
one looks better in a super tight sweater than this man. I love
than
him.
Milchek.
Also,
I
he's got
love
the
him.
moves. He's got the
He
moves.
really does. It was so good. Yeah, no, I really like him. He's someone I'm very interested to see season 3 what happens because we never got he jumped on that vending machine and that's the last thing we saw of him.
I just love
So
him. Like, I feel
yeah.
like his character could go either way. Like, I can see him kind of changing sides. I can see him sticking with Lumen. Like,
Yeah.
I can see either. And
I can
I'm
see
really
either and
intrigued.
I want to know. I always root for Milchick. I mean, I've seen plenty of TikToks like this, so it's not an original thought. But like, you root for Milchick when Lumen's being mad, but when
Mhm.
he's being mad at the innies, you're mad at Milchick.
Yes.
And I think that that's a very
Very valid
like
point.
he's the only one that gets both ends kind of a thing.
Hmm. Because I love him.
I love him.
And I love his moves and his grooves.
He's so fun. He's such a blast. So, but yeah, who Dylan?
I
Innie
don't
and Outie
like
Dylan.
Dylan. I don't like
I don't
Dylan.
either.
I just find him kind of annoying and whiny. I don't know. He's just not. I like
Yeah.
any Dylan way better than Outie Dylan. Outie Dylan's a jerk. But
Outie Dylan's a jerk, but also Innie Dylan's like I when he okay, so when him and Gretchen when he kissed Gretchen,
mhm.
I was pissed.
Yes, that's
And
not your
I think
woman.
that's not your woman. I think Outie Dylan had every right to be pissed off at
Oh,
Gretchen
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
Gretchen is fully cheating with Innie Dylan.
For sure.
Um, but I will say I really liked Outie Dylan's response to Innie's
I did too.
resignation.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done where he let Innie Dylan pick, but
Yes.
he explained why he wanted him to stay. And
Yes.
I thought that was really cool
No, I
and
loved
like just
that
like a
scene. Yeah.
great thing. And so I hope Outie Dylan next season will grow up a little bit and kind of take this experience and be better.
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping. I just I and so I but I so I think I like Outie Dylan better than any Dylan,
Yes.
honestly.
Out from that scene, yes. Before that, no, but from that scene,
Yeah,
yes. To stand up for Gretchen a little bit, I feel like that would be really confusing. Like I can
absolutely.
understand why
Oh,
that would be
absolutely.
difficult or like why that would happen because that has to
Yeah.
be just so confusing, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree. I think um
But
yeah,
Audi Dillon
I
was definitely very justified in his response, for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Um
Trying to
Mark.
think. Oh, I like Mark. I like him a lot. I think he's a good main
I
character.
like Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like him. I think Adam is playing him so well
Hmm.
as well that like it just there it's so interesting to see the similarities between Innie and Outie Mark and the differences between them and how I feel like Adam is able to really play them up to where they are like they all play it to that they are separate characters when they're
Yeah.
Innie and Outie, but I feel like Mark really is
He's got
you
it
can
down, kind
really
of.
yeah, like he really has it dialed in on how
Hmm.
to and I mean obviously he had to flip so much during the finale
Yeah.
with the videotapes that he had
Yeah.
to
Well, and we've
just
seen the
know.
most of Outie Mark, so he's had to do the most
Yeah.
work in between. I saw
Yeah.
this TikTok or something that was like Adam Scott is so good at playing characters who are just uncomfortable being alive. And I'm like, that is so perfect because Ben Wyatt is just uncomfortable being a human.
So uncomfortable.
And
That's
so is
so
Mark. I
funny.
think it's so funny
That's
because
hilarious. I
that's
never even
exactly
thought
what it
about that,
is.
but yeah, no, it definitely is. But he's so good at it.
He's so good. He is so good.
Yeah, and he makes you really I feel like the last couple episodes, once we hit the Gemma episode and to the through the finale, we'll get there. Once we hit the Gemma episode through the finale, I feel like he really humanized Outie Mark so much
Yeah.
because we hadn't I mean, we up until that point we hadn't seen really any flashbacks of Outie Mark. We'd only seen what
Current
happened
Outie
af
Mark. Yeah.
yeah, like with what is it? The aftermath of Gemma's passing and we
Yeah.
knew that. So it was like you wanted to humanize him so much, but you're like, what were you like before? Like,
Hmm.
why? And so after the Gemma episode moving forward, like you were able to see that. And even in current day Audi Mark, you were able to see that humanity once you kind of saw
Yeah.
the Gemma
Or
episode.
it's more like purpose. Like he has a purpose
Yeah.
now where he didn't have one before. So he's more there's something more to root for now where he was just really sad before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
um okay, what do you think about Gemma? Because I am Gemma's biggest fan. I
Same.
freaking love her. I love her
I
and Mark and I love them so much and I just want them to be happy.
I know. I am obsessed with her. I just think she is the prettiest, most like sweet woman I've
She's so
ever
cute.
seen.
She's so cute.
She is so sweet. Like the way they met with the blood. It was so adorable and I loved it. And I just thought this is like the cutest thing ever. And she was so nice and kind. And when she lost her baby, I sobbed. I my heart hurt so much for her. And and then to find out she was severed 25 different ways by the end, like that poor woman.
And she was getting all of her emotions removed, and that's what they were refining. That is wild.
Like that, well, that's what
Wild.
Mark was refining.
Yeah.
That's a thing we got to talk about for another day.
But like it was just it broke my heart because she's
It was
so
so
cute
sad.
and her and Mark are so cute and I just love them and I want them to be
Yeah.
happy.
I hope that the next season brings happiness for them
I know. Okay, well, so let's talk
because
about the finale.
okay,
So, the scene where Mark accidentally shoots Drummond in the neck, that was
that
wild.
was that was quite literally one of the best scenes of television I've ever seen.
Literally, that was so crazy. That was so crazy. But let's talk about the end. Let's talk about the end.
Yes.
What do you think happened? Do you think that was Helly or do you think it was Helena? Because Helly was
That's
never cruel,
that's
and
true.
that was cruel.
That was. And Helly had resigned to the fact that he should go off with Gemma
Yeah, that they don't get a honeymoon. What was it?
because she's an Egan.
A
A
honeymoon
honeymoon, I don't
something.
remember. Yeah.
But also, if you go back, and I caught this while we were watching, I don't know if it dinged when she came out of the elevator. I don't know if it dinged.
Mm.
We went back and rewatched it a couple times, and we can't tell if it only dings like inside of the elevator and there was like a little bit because she was on the outside when she came out. But I don't think it dinged. I don't think it was
Well,
ever Helly.
you don't think it was ever like for just the finale episode?
Yeah. For just that
Okay.
part where they were in. on the severed floor together.
Hmm.
I don't think it was because I don't think it dinged.
I don't know. I I thought because when Mark was finishing Cold Harbor,
Mhm.
I don't think I think Helena Egan believed so much in Severance and Cold Harbor and everything that was going on that I don't think she would have, you know, done the things to keep Milchick in the bathroom, like done all these things if it was Helena. I think Helly would have done that, but I don't think Helena would have because she obviously doesn't want Mark to get Gemma out. Like that's not something that he would want. There is the idea that they could have OTC'd her
Yeah, there at that point.
between, yeah.
I think it was Helena. I think Helena did all, I don't think Helena thought he would ever get her out. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think because he didn't have a key card. He would have had to go up against Drummond, which I mean,
Yeah,
that's a tough thing in and of itself. I
that was
mean,
wild.
the goat lady had to betray in order for all of this to work. Like, I
Yeah,
just don't think she thought it would ever work.
actually happen.
It would ever work. But I don't think Mark would have finished Cold Harbor without that blessing from Helly. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he would have.
so in order to finish
Yeah,
Cold Harbor, she needed to be there. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like,
I
I
I get
just
that.
I just don't think she thought he would ever succeed.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
calculated risk.
There's there's that, but I also her James Egan really likes Helly.
It's
He
true.
sees Kier in Helly. So I feel like he would be strategic about when he pulls like he would pull Helly to convince Mark to be like, hey, we
Hmm.
don't have a future. There's no future for us. But then when he needs Helena, then he would flip it. Like, I just feel like there's a way, like, they're very strategic
For
about
sure.
flipping her.
For
That
sure.
I don't think, I think once Helena was discovered earlier in the season when they were on their
Woe's Hollow.
Woe's Hollow, I think they probably got really nervous about bringing Helena back. Um, that it just kind of makes me wonder. I don't think the person running with Mark was Helly. I think that was
No, I think
Helena.
that was Helena
But
for
I
sure.
do think it was Helly before that. Just
Okay,
because
that's
I
fair. No,
just
that's
don't
fair.
think I don't think they could have I don't think they would have risked letting Helena try and play Helly again like
That's
that
fair. No,
in
that's
a
fair.
critical moment like that.
Yeah. But
But I
I
do
think,
think,
but Mark wasn't the one who discovered it was Helena. It was Irv, and Irv wasn't there.
yeah, but
I
they
don't know.
were privy to it now.
Yes, I think if it came out that it was always Helena, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that makes sense. But it also
I
makes
mean, I
sense that
get
it was
it.
Helly. It also makes sense that it was Helly.
Yeah, that's the thing, like we were saying earlier. That's the
You
thing with
can't
the show is
predict.
like you can't predict it, but it makes sense no matter what happens, even if like you just don't know.
Yes. But when
Um,
Gemma was on the other side of that door, screaming for Mark, and Mark turned around and walked the other way, a part of me died. And
part of me did die.
there's a lot of discourse out in the world about, if you are upset about that, then you don't see the innies as real people and don't validate their feelings or whatever. I don't care about that. I wanted Mark and Gemma to be happy together. Even if it
Yeah.
was Mark and Miss Casey. I want them to be together
Well, here's the
because I
thing.
love them.
Here's the thing that's frustrating about this is, and this is why I think it's Helena who came back at the end,
Ellie was never cruel.
is Helly was never cruel, but Helly had also resigned to the fact and told Mark, like, hey,
Assuming that was Helly.
assuming it was Helly,
That's the
okay?
thing. You're assuming that was Helly.
I'm assuming it was Helly, but she had been like, hey, if we reintegrate somehow and we're able to live outside and live as one, she's like, I'm Helena. We have no chance on the
Hmm.
outside. Like it was so frustrating because it felt like he had finally come to terms with the idea that them reintegrating and being outside of this world, they wouldn't be together. Like
Mhm.
that was never going to happen. And so the best chance for him to be happy in life was to go be with Gemma or Miss Casey or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like and I think and when like, he finally did it and like the tear rolled as like he finishes Cold Harbor, I think like to me what I saw is that he had come to the acceptance of this is what's going to happen. Like I understand that this is what it has to be kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
it's like I had felt like he had finally Any Mark was like, "Okay, this is what we have to do. Like this is the best case scenario for all of us
Hmm.
is that we just go and rescue Gemma and go live with Gemma and reintegrate and be part of that
Yes.
life." So then when he turned and ran with Helly,
I have genuinely never felt such rage in my life. We were
yep,
this close to getting them back together. And for what? Literally, what does he think is going to happen?
he
What does he think is going to happen? They're not
yeah,
going to, like, what? They're going to stay on the severed floor forever? No, that's not going to happen. If anything, they're whacking both of them.
yeah,
Like, there's no future for them
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Even
There's
as
not.
even as their innies. Like, there's nothing.
There's nothing for them because the thing is like the repercussions that they now have to face. Like
They're
they
not letting
walked back
them.
into the fire, literally.
Well, and also their whole thing, they were gonna get rid of Mark after finishing Cold Harbor anyways.
Yeah, they only needed him for that.
Yeah, like, and so they think that now, like, what do they think is gonna happen? What did he think was gonna happen running back there with her? Like,
Yeah.
and also, I really hope Gemma got out. I mean, I assume she
I
did.
know
We
that's
don't
the thing.
know,
We
but
don't
like,
know. We don't know.
I
But like
really hope, I hope Devin
Gemma
and
better
Miss
have gotten out.
Cobell were in a getaway car in the parking lot. Gemma
They
got
had to
out
have
and they
been.
got her and
They
they
had to have
left.
been because
They have to.
they have to be because they knew that this was happening. Like they had to have been, right? Like because it's just so
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about the cutest slash funniest part ever?
yeah.
When Gemma and Mark are going up in the elevator and they are so sweet and they just are so happy, and all of a sudden it's Miss Casey and Mark S. That was
And
so
they're
funny.
like
That was so
and they're
funny.
making out and they're like and she's
What is
like, "Can
going
you tell
on?
me what's going on?"
It's so funny.
Like it's so funny.
It
But it's
was
just
so good. Like, genuinely, it was so good.
yeah. It was such a good and I'm so excited for season 3.
And
I
I'm so glad that goat didn't get sacrificed. I was so
I
scared.
know.
I was
I
so
know.
sad. The goat, I was really worried about the goat
I was
because it
worried
was so
about the goat. I'm
cute.
glad it didn't get
But
sacrificed. I'm glad that the
also,
bullet went to Drummond.
like, they were talking about like how this has happened before. So were there other people who they had tried to like sever and sever and sever and it just didn't work and they had to lay a goat down with them?
Maybe
And enough where they have an entire goat
goat
farm on
farm.
the severed floor?
See, I just want to know what everybody else was doing. Was everybody like what was what who were Helly and Irv and Dylan? Who were they macro data refining?
Yeah,
Like
were they each doing a person?
were they each doing a different person? Were they not doing anything and the only person doing any work was Mark?
Mark.
Were like where I feel like there's so many questions that were answered in the finale, but so many more that yeah, that now are open.
Yeah, and like, does it have to be a person you have like an emotional attachment to like feel their feelings? Like, is
Yeah.
that, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's it's a finale that answered so many things for you, but now
And I think they did a good job because the end of season one, where they had to wait 3 years, that's a cliffhanger that would have driven me insane. You know what I mean? Where I
yeah.
feel like this cliffhanger, it answered enough questions where I'm
Hmm.
satisfied, but there are still plenty of questions to be answered. So I feel
Yeah.
like, and again, Ben Stiller promised it's not going to take another 3 years, but if it did, I'm satisfied enough, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I feel like
No,
they
I
they
agree.
they understood what happened with season one and they did
Yes.
not do that again.
And they didn't quite they didn't make it as un like because I feel like the season one finale, there was not a single question that was answered at
No.
all. And it just asked so many more.
Yeah.
But this one you at least answered a lot of the things that we'd been wondering about for the last couple seasons. So I'm
Hmm.
very interested, especially now. Because again, I did not know about it when season one came out, but now season two coming out and it's the biggest show in the world right now.
Hmm.
I hope that they'll be able to keep this same level of mystery behind it. Like I hope it doesn't get inflated in any way.
That's the thing. I hope the show doesn't go to the point where they're just doing seasons for seasons. You know what I mean? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like, and I think they have enough self-awareness where they will keep it like interesting and like pure to what it is. Like, they're not gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
do things just to keep making the show. Because I feel like this is a show you could do that on where it is so kind of wild. Like, you could just keep doing whatever.
Well, I mean, there's so many, think of all the spin-offs they could do of different rooms in
Yeah, and
Lumen.
yeah.
Like the severed floor, because we just found out about the celebration and
music
merriment, or
music and or merriment and music and choreography I think it was
no, the M is merriment, C&M,
merriment and
choreography and
choreography.
maybe something, yeah, something like that. But then, you have O&D, you have macrodata refinement, you have now the party band. There's so many people on the floor that you could just
You
go
could do
on
a whole bunch
forever.
of
And I
things.
hope they don't. I hope they keep it to what it is, you
Yes,
know?
I
But we'll
hope
see.
at the very end they are able to clone each other and then put their innies in the clone so then they
And
can all
be
be
outies.
happy.
I think that'd be great.
um
So that way Mark
but
can use Gemma.
if not, screw the innies. Mark and Gemma need to be together.
I agree.
And you know what, I didn't like Helly anyways.
Same. Yeah, no, I feel the same. So,
But anyways, I love this show and
yeah,
I'm
so good.
obsessed.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
this has
go
been
back and
a great
rewatch
show.
it. Now that you've seen it, I'll go back and rewatch it because it's really interesting the things you notice
Okay.
watching it again.
I'll I'll have to do that. Sounds good. I'm
And
very
Ben
excited.
Stiller,
So,
if you're listening, you got 3 weeks before season three needs to come out. 3 weeks.
get moving.
Get cooking. I've
Go.
heard they're filming season three and season four at the same time
That would be great.
so that it can, be a little
I
quicker.
I think that would be so smart on their end to
Yeah.
kind of because I feel like oh man, I just like the cinematography on the show
It's
is
crazy.
so good.
And it's all like real sets too. Like they don't use very much green screen at all.
And I think I've loved that. I don't know if it's necessarily a trend right now, but where Wicked was a huge a lot of practical sets. Like I love this idea of
Yeah.
going back to practical sets
Because
because
it's
that makes
different.
it so much better.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things about the Severance that makes it really cool is that it's all practical and you can really feel
Because
the
you
practicality and
can't
the realness
interact
of
with
it.
the green screen the way you can interact with real life things.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
does affect the acting, even though you can do really cool things on a green screen. When you can do it in like a practical set, I'm glad they're
That's the
doing them.
way to do it. Yeah. No, I agree. So
Alrighty. Well, this has been a long episode, so we should cut her
we should,
off.
yeah, because we could still go on for a long time because
This
there's so
show is
much we
crazy.
didn't even get to because there's just so much right now. But
Yes, if there's something
yeah,
we missed and you have a theory or something, comment it down below because I want to hear what everyone thinks. If you agree
I
with us or not,
yeah,
if you think it was Helena the whole time that last episode or Helly, if you think it was Helly running down the hall, I want to know what you guys think of the finale. So please comment
yeah. Please let us know your finale thoughts because I want to know too.
because the show is crazy. It is crazy.
So good. It was so
Alrighty.
good. Okay. Well, we will see you guys next week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on socials, TikTok, Instagram, follow us on your favorite streaming platform, YouTube. We're everywhere.
801 Diaries
Find it,
podcast
find
everywhere.
us. You've got us.
We love you guys.
We love you, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.